Thank you, Rabbi, for your words. Thank you, really. Hello, everyone. Before I begin, I want to express my gratitude to everyone here, everyone who couldn't be here tonight. I'm grateful for the love and support that I received over the past month since my father died. I'm grateful for the love and support I received over the past year since his diagnosis, where many of you were far more tuned in to how I was handling things than I was. Similarly to my father, although in my case motivated by hubris, not humility, I have always tried to be emotionally self-sufficient and undemanding. I know that over the years, some of you have reached out to me to make a deeper connection, and I've held back, attempting to master my own feelings and powering intimacy with humor. This was the year that everything I thought I knew about managing my feelings fell apart. This was the year that my father got ill and died. This was the year that every one of my friends ignored the emotional distance I had seemed to encourage and enveloped me with kindness, pairing humor with love and thoughtfulness. Thank you, all of you. From the Lavoya to the Shiva to now, I am surrounded by more friends than I have deserved. Friends that I've known since I was 3, friends that I was in school with when I was 5, friends that I rode to school with every day from 7 to 18. Friends that I was on Hachshara with, and in Shiva. Friends that we met in Hasharon Park when our children swung on swings. Friends that I davened with when I was 9 years old. And friends that I davened with this morning. And my best friend in the whole world. My best friend forever. Thank you all. My father was the best of us. I'm not making a grandiose claim for his place in history. I'm saying very specifically that in the insignificant microcosmic family of Sevid, my mum, Alison, Benjamin, and me, my daddy was the best of us. He was the source of all our humor and of our morality. He was the best audience any of us will ever have, and the greatest supporter we will ever know. Benjamin noticed early on in the mourning process that another family might have to ask themselves, what would Daddy want? Or how would Daddy want this to go? And we haven't had to deal with these questions because Daddy would have been happy with whatever we decided, because that's how he was. He thought we were all smarter than him and more capable, and he never found fault with anything we did, except perhaps the way we ate an apple or loaded the dishwasher. He loved us unconditionally and believed that everything we did was simply amazing. And over the years, as we slowly worked out just how difficult it was for any of us to disappoint him, we kind of stopped trying. My dad loved to laugh. He loved the Goon Show and relished a good pun or a silly rhyme. The longer you could extend the gag, shoehorning in increasingly silly rhymes, the better. He laughed at whatever we came up with. He made us feel clever and witty. He loved movies, although he didn't remember very much the ones he'd seen. He didn't go to the cinema that much because his experiences were always a bit of a disaster. A screening of 2001: A Space Odyssey with my mother was famously the closest they ever came to a divorce. I remember as a child seeing him come home from seeing Alien with our neighbour, Uncle Jeffrey, 2 middle-aged men white with terror at what they just witnessed. So at home he would watch movies from the couch, often falling asleep halfway through one, wake me up and sitting through half of another one. Didn't seem to bother him. As early as I can remember, he would confuse the same 3 actors, and then he would forget which of the 3 actors that he didn't know which were which. And for the record, it was James Coburn, Steve McQueen, and Robert Redford. He always mixed them up. I guess his confusion was the impetus for our embarrassingly encyclopedic knowledge of these things. We had to know everything just to fill in his gaps. He showed us how to be mentioned. He never took anything that wasn't his. He never coveted anything he didn't earn. He was never cruel. He liked children. He liked watching sport, rugby and tennis, not football and golf. He loved to read, but he was always frustrated that he didn't do it fast enough. On the downside, he always assumed that part of the service waiters and waitresses provided was a willing ear for his jokes. This may have been the result of holding so many patients captive in the chair over the years. When the man with the drill says something he thinks is amusing, what are you going to do? My father was the best of us, and we are worse without him. His life was a blessing for me, and now his memory will have to be. He was the best of us Sevids. And the only thing that sustains me in my grief is knowing that the things that made him the best live still inside my mummy who is love and laughter and light. In my big sister, who inspires me every day to be a better child to my parents and a better parent to my children. And in my little brother, who is a bigger man than I in every way. I have my daddy to thank for his love and theirs. His memory is a blessing for all of us. Thank you.